Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We'll give a few minutes for people to enter the training, but as soon as you come in, if you don't mind taking the poll that we have up on the screen, we'd like to get a feel for, who's joining us today. Whether you're in the science discipline or math, or if you're an administrator or even a parent, share with us. We'd love to know who's participating today. All right, I'll leave the poll up for a couple more minutes while we get started. You're more than welcome to keep answering. But good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to have this time with all of you. First off, a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded. So then I will share the recording with you early next week in an email, and we'll also be offering it online for the remainder of the year. So if you ever need to reference it later on, or if there are other teachers, I know that some couldn't attend, so you're more than welcome to share it with them so they can have access to it. We're going to keep everyone muted for the remainder of the training, but feel free to use the Q&A or the chat box if you have any questions throughout the training, and we'll definitely get to them before the training is over. So I think we've had pretty much most people answer the poll, so I'll go ahead and stop that. So we can see that the majority of you are science teachers, but we do have some administrators, language arts teachers, that's great, and then a couple math teachers, awesome. So I know that some of you have already spent the morning already in a training, so we're grateful that you're joining us now, and so we want to be respectful of your time, so we'll go ahead and get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Barbara Martinez Guerrero. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Executive Director of Dreaming Green. And I just wanted to take a very quick second to welcome you. We're so glad you're able to join us. And we look forward to working with you for the rest of the year. To get us started, I want to introduce Mark Peck, who is the treasurer of Dreaming Green Board of Directors. Mark has been with us now a little over a year, and he has been instrumental in expanding our program to Broward. So we wanted to give him an opportunity to say a few words and to have him, introduce himself to you. So Mark, take it away.
Thank you, Barbara. Hi, everybody. Thank you for sharing your afternoon with us. I'm a board member on Dreaming Green and the treasurer and the chair of the Broward Engagement Committee. I've been on for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years now, and it's just been a really great experience for me. I really wanted to come today and just say thank you to all of the teachers and administrators on behalf of the board. Barbara and her team have worked really hard to put all these great programs together, but without your help getting it to the students, it really would be all for naught. So it's very important. You're a huge part of this, and thank you for sharing our gloomy Saturday afternoon with us. It really is, especially in kind of the times that we're in right now, it's really great to see so many people going above and beyond and getting extra curriculum to the students. So on behalf of myself and the board, I really want to give a big thank you. I won't take up a lot of time. Barbara has much more interesting stuff to talk about than I do. But thank you all, and I hope you have a great workshop and a great school year.
Thank you, Mark. And as Barbara introduced herself, I realized that I forgot to do that. My name is Alexandra Ender, and I'm the program manager. So all the emails that you've been receiving about the training and the program, those have come from me. So you can see what I look like. So before we really jump in, Mark touched a little bit on the times that we're in, but, we just wanted, as a Dreaming Green, just wanted to acknowledge that we know this year is different than any other before it. And I'm sure that we thought the beginning of the year would have its hiccups, but maybe not to the extent that some of those in Miami did experience. But we are hopeful that moving forward, things will be smoother, and we want to help with that transition, which is why we worked hard all summer to develop curriculum for all pre-K through 12 schools that can be adapted for both at home and then in classroom learning, but if we potentially go back.
We also want to take a moment to thank all of our sponsors. Without their support, we really wouldn't be able to provide these programs to you all. And so this is a list of our partners that have been supporting us in the previous academic year and are continuing to do so this year. I also want to highlight our amazing partners. All of these organizations that you see on your screen have had a hand in setting up the Green Schools Challenge for this year, for 2020-2021, whether it was helping us develop the lessons or offering special opportunities for your students. We're super grateful for their partnership, and you will hear from a few of those partners that are here with us this afternoon.
So I just wanted to touch on an item for Miami-Dade public school teachers only that are joining us this afternoon. This will just take a quick second, but we do need to cover it. For Miami-Dade teachers, in order to receive master plan points for attending this training, you'll need to make sure that your school is enrolled in the Green Schools Challenge if it's not already. You must be present at the beginning and the end of this training. We are taking attendance at the beginning at the end again. You will have to complete the evaluation on my learning plan and also submit the follow-up assignment to me. I will send all this in an email afterwards to make sure that you don't miss out on anything. For Broward and private school teachers, if there's any documentation that you would need for your school or district to say that you completed this training, we're more than happy to provide a certificate or, like I said, some kind of documentation. So just email me after this training and I'll get that over to you.
Here's what we will be covering today. So in addition to going over the program, we have invited some of our partners to speak, as we mentioned before, about the initiatives and how they tie in with Dream in Green. Then we will have a breakout activity with Brittany from EcoRise, another one of our partners, which some of you, if you attended last year's meeting, got a chance to meet. And so those of you who didn't and are new to the program will get a chance to meet her today. And then we will wrap up the session. Again, feel free to ask any questions you may have through the presentation, through the Q&A box. We have Diego, our program coordinator, that is monitoring all of your questions. And there will have a space also at the end of the presentation to go through some of the ones we might not have had a chance to see as we're going through. I do see some questions and some comments already. I see a lot of familiar names, so I'm so glad you guys can join us today. And so with that, we are going to continue on with our agenda.
And so I wanted to take a moment to welcome Daniel from the Ocean Conservancy to say a few words to all of you. The Ocean Conservancy is a great partner and sponsor of Dream in Green, and they really help us in our mission to educate students about the environmental challenges facing South Florida.
Thanks, Alex. Hi, everyone. I'm Daniel. I will be talking to you a little bit about the work that Ocean Conservancy does and tell you how thankful we are to the team at Dream in Green, being Barbara and Alex, for all the amazing work that they do, and all of you environmental educators for participating in this really important work. Okay, so Alex, should I share my screen now?
Yes, are you able to?
Let me see.
I think I gave you access to do it.
Oh, the joys of Zoom, huh?
It's a learning process for all of us still.
Okay. All right. You
yes, perfect. Yes, we do see it.
Great. Well, like I said, I work for Ocean Conservancy, and let me tell you a bit about what we do. So before that, you should know who you're speaking with. So my name is Daniel Padilla Ochoa. I am a Florida Conservations Partnership Manager for Ocean Conservancy. I am based in Miami, Florida. I'm a first-generation Floridian, so my family and I immigrated from Ecuador, from Quito. And I was raised in Miami-Dade and came back after a stint of 10 years, so very happy to be back. I graduated with a master's in urban planning and design from the Harvard Graduate School of Design, and I tried to bring as many of those skills to work on water quality issues and sea level rise preparedness for the state of Florida. I also want to say that the amount of work that we have here in Florida and the amount of people that are interested has been astounding. And so I also want to take as many moments of those as possible. For Ocean Conservancy, we have been expanding our operations. We have been around for close to 50 years. We have a team of over 100 dedicated professionals that range from scientists, attorneys, and policy and outreach specialists. We have offices in Washington, D.C., in the state of Washington, in Oregon, Alaska, Texas, California, and Florida. We have a robust network of members of over 150,000 strong and over 1 million ocean activists. And if any of you are part of it, thank you. Let me tell you about the work that we do. We work on major kind of areas, and of course, this doesn't encapsulate all of the work that the great team over the 100 staff do, but some of those include the following. So we work on ocean acidification, in which we work to bring together policymakers and locally impacted fishermen and other constituencies to address and document the impacts of ocean acidification. We have founded the International Alliance to Combat Ocean Acidification, which has been joined by over 7 countries. And we work to introduce bipartisan bills, not just in the US, but across international government cooperatives. We also work on the issue of the Gulf restoration. So I think it's loading, but I will continue anyway. So since 2010s, following the BP oil spill, we have been working to restore the iconic Gulf of Mexico. We have produced materials, reports, science papers to document the impacts, but at the same time, provide innovative and practical approaches to ensure the restoration of the Gulf, where we all either visit or some of us may even vacation to. We also work in fish conservation in the Gulf of Mexico and in the Pacific Coast. We define fish conservation as the replenishing and restoring of fish stock. Since the 1970s, we have been actively doing that and trying to restore economically and iconically important species like the red snapper, the king mackerel, and the lingcod. Most recently, we're focusing on grouper, which has been heavily impacted by red tide in the Gulf. We also developed Poseidon, which is an international groundbreaking modeling tool that tries to predict fishermen's behaviors coupled with policy actions from federal governments. And in addition to that, the most effective tool sometimes, unfortunately, is suing the responsible entities for the conservation and management of these fishes, including the Department of Commerce during a specific year when the red snapper populations were overfished, and then allowing them to have kind of like a break. You'll be glad to know that the red snapper populations in the Gulf have rebounded. Currently, they're at sustainable levels, which is great, but it also means there's more room for improvement. Our largest program by far, and the one that you're probably the most familiar with, is Trash Free Seas. Trash Free Seas organizes the International Coastal Cleanup, which is the largest volunteer beach cleanup worldwide every year, hosted in the month of September. Unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are not encouraging large group events. However, if you are interested in cleaning up your beaches, your canals, your waterways, we encourage you to log the trash that you pick up through the Clean Swell app, which is available on Apple and Android stores. We also produce research that drives policy. Last but definitely not least for all of us here, we protect Florida. So this has been a campaign that used to be focused on fisheries management, but since 2 years ago, we've been really investing in education and outreach like Dreaming Green's program, which we think is the premier education environmental nonprofit organization in Florida. And we also try to work with municipal governments through the Shores Forward initiative, trying to bring their ocean health issues to the forefront and putting as much kind of funding and also support behind those as well. As you all know, Florida has been devastated by red tide, killing keystone species. Blue-green algal blooms have affected all corners of the state. We have seen sunny day flooding increase in frequency, and now in hurricane season, I mean, I think this is in all of our kind of consciousness. And then where this kind of, the intersection between climate change and water quality really meets is the devastation for marine wildlife and habitats. We have seen stony coral tissue disease impact the Florida Reef Tract in unprecedented levels, and it's a future that we need to avoid if we really care about our ocean health. So the algal blooms have impacted statewide, and that contributes to water quality issues that feed into the ocean's health. We love Dreaming Green's curriculum that really tries to educate the next generation of Florida residents on how to protect their waterways and why it's important to watch their activities, especially during the rainy season. And although we have the ICC, the International Coastal Cleanup, that cleans an extraordinary amount of coastal waterways and just coasts, we have collected over 200 million pounds of trash, but that's not even getting at the root of the issue, which is that over 800 truckloads of trash, which equals to 8 million tons of plastic, enter our waterways each year. Unfortunately, a lot of that plastic is found in the Southeast Asian Pacific. And it's not because they're litter bugs, but it's actually because of the burgeoning middle class and the lack of municipal waste infrastructure that hasn't been able to keep up. And so we're working with governments there as well to try to get their policies and their infrastructure up to speed. Some of the materials that are mostly found in the ICC and the most deadly to keep in mind are plastic bags and utensils. So please make sure that you are disposing of them properly and helping clean up. In 2017, for the first time, all 10 items in the top list were made out of plastic, which is a turning point for us and a turning point for the ocean's health, because these plastics and the microplastics that result from them live on way past our lifetimes. And in Florida in particular, we're really looking at the effects of climate change closely. We're ground zero for sea level rise, and we are the most impacted by storms by far out of any of the states. Which is all to say that Florida needs your help. And as environmental educators, we're really counting on you to push the dialogue, to push the discourse, and then also get the next generation of residents ready for these challenges. And some of the things that you can take away are the campaigns that I hope are very common to you by now. Skip the straw, take 5 minutes for the turtles, clean up the beaches, which really resonates with a lot of kids. You know, when you tell them you're taking 5 minutes to clean up for the turtles, I've seen it in my own nieces, and I think it's, it's a fantastic little step every time you make it. We also really encourage the support of local fishermen and industries. Purchase and eat sustainably caught seafood in Florida that a lot of times is yellowfin, tuna, red snapper, grouper, and even now that just passed the lobster season as well. And we encourage you, and I cannot understate this, your engagement with local officials, because not only do they want to hear from you, but some of these agencies like the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission, they need to hear from you. And so we encourage you to advocate as much as possible and make your priorities heard. If you'd like to learn more, or if you'd like to follow us the work, and if you'd like us more to provide more support for the programs that you already are doing, please follow us in any of our social channels. And I would love to hear from you as much as possible. If you have the curiosity, go on our website, and there are reports there that I think you'll be very, very captivated by. And a lot of this material influences and shapes the curriculum that is in the Dreaming Green materials. And so we are very thankful for Dreaming Green and the work that you all do. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Daniel. And a quick question, I had a teacher ask if they would be able to have access to this presentation or not.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Happy to
So
share.
I will send that in an email afterwards to everybody. So.
Okay, and I'm happy to take questions as well. I know we don't have time today, but if there are any questions, I'll be happy to follow up via email.
Okay, perfect. So we'll jump back in. Barbara, can you see?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Daniel, so much for the presentation, and we're very happy to have you guys as our partners, and we're learning a lot from the work that you're doing, and it's really helping us to improve our program. Which brings me to, for those of you who are new, to a little bit about us. And so Dreamin' Green's mission is to assist diverse organizations, including schools, households, local governments, and businesses to reduce their environmental footprint. We do this by establishing partnerships, such as the Ocean Conservancy, with our community, and we develop, implement, and oversee educational programs and workshops that promote environmental sustainability behaviors among all age groups, with a particular emphasis on K-12 students. The program was founded in 2006 by 3 lawyers, and they wanted to address some of the unique environmental issues and challenges that threaten the future viability of our community. Since then, the organization has grown from working with 3 schools to now serving over 100 schools yearly, and partnering with various communities to implement outreach activities throughout Miami-Dade and now Broward counties.
And so a little bit about Dreaming Green's programs. The Green Schools Challenge, which we'll definitely go into more detail in a minute, is our whole system program that engages students in hands-on activities to save water and energy at school and teaches them about the links between natural resources, climate change, and community sustainability. Another benefit that we offer within the Green Schools Challenge is that we provide grants through the Green Leadership Grant Program of up to $350 to support green initiatives at your school. And we'll definitely spend a little time going into that program and how you can apply for some of that funding.
And we just wanted to touch upon some of the impact to date of our programs. We have consistently been in over 110 schools yearly from pre-K through 12 schools. And overall, all our programs have served over 330 unique schools since its inception. We have the ability to reach over 100,000 individuals, roughly 84,000 of those, which are pre-K through 12th grade students. In addition to serving individuals, students and teacher efforts have helped Miami-Dade County Public Schools, the district, save over $3 million in energy costs because they have saved over 35 million kilowatt hours of electricity and offset almost 54 million pounds of CO2 emissions because of the behavior changes that students and teachers have made and implemented in their school.
So at Dreaming Green, we believe that environmental education and whole school sustainability is not just a local issue. And so therefore we've aligned some of the curriculum this year to the United Nations Sustainability Goals. The goals are the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address the global challenges we face, including those related to poverty, inequality, climate change, environmental degradation, peace, and justice. The 17 goals you see here on the screen are all interconnected, and in order to leave no one behind, it is important that we achieve them all by 2030. So some of the goals are highlighted within the curriculum, and those are the climate action, life below water, affordable and clean energy, responsible consumption and production, and partnership. So you'll see some of those highlighted within the lessons, and we'll point those out a little later. So by attending this training, you do recognize the importance of environmental education in K through 12 schools. So why be a part of the Green Schools Challenge? So through the Green Schools Challenge, we provide support through trainings, guidebooks, site visits, and like we mentioned, grants. All of our curriculum is aligned with state standards as well as within Miami-Dade County Public Schools pacing guides. We increase environmental literacy and students develop leadership, teamwork, and critical thinking skills. We empower students to respond to climate issues in their area. And our successes are celebrated at the end of the year with an award ceremony. And finally, we strive to increase building efficiency by decreasing operating costs as well as increasing occupants' health. And then another benefit that we have is that we are an official partner of Miami-Dade County Public Schools. So by participating in the Green Schools Challenge, it allows your school to earn points towards STEM designation. And on the screen here, you'll see the minimum requirements that you need to complete in order to receive those points. You'll need to complete all the beginning of the year activities and half of the monthly topics, and we'll go into more detail. For Broward schools, we are working with Broward County Public Schools and the P3 Challenge that they offer. Through the P3 Challenge, Broward recognizes schools that learn about and implement environmentally sustainable measures and green initiatives within their school and communities. So we really feel that the Green Schools Challenge can help directly with the curriculum integration and school sustainability aspects. And our grant program can support school ground enhancement and special projects as well.
Dreaming Green staff creates lessons that are appropriate for each grade level, offering curriculums for elementary, middle, and high schools. Through those curriculum, we cover 6 sustainability topics throughout the year. Those topics include energy efficiency, water conservation, waste reduction, alternative transportation, green living, and food security. Each topic has a corresponding lesson. And at the elementary school level, we provide age-appropriate lessons. So there are lessons that are targeted for pre-K through first grade students, lessons for second through third grade, and then fourth and fifth grade students. The entire curriculum is online, so you can access it from anywhere. All the lessons are written in a clear format, and we'll show examples of this in a bit. Through the online curricula, teachers can submit their work where it will be evaluated by the staff, and schools are awarded points for those lessons that they complete.
And so this is to get a visual to give you an idea of the Green Schools Challenge structure and timeline for the year. It is a year-long program running from September to May. The program begins with a professional development training this year virtually, obviously the one that you're attending right now, where we're going to go over the program benefits, how to implement the program and navigate the curriculum, and how to receive points. So after the training, you'll go back to schools and to focus on the 3 pillars that are listed there in blue that really help build the foundation of the program at school. So then throughout the year, from October through March, you'll complete lessons that focus on those 6 topics that Barbara had just listed. You can see them there again. And again, the activities come with a lesson plan and all the aligning benchmarks. Since the program is set up as a competition, each school is encouraged to complete the pillars and as many of the lessons as they can throughout the year. Each activity and lesson is given a specific amount of points through a rubric system, and schools accrue points throughout the year. And at the end of the year, the top scoring schools will be eligible to win prizes and awards for their accomplishments. And we'll go through all the points and how to earn those throughout the year.
So here, as you can see, are the first steps that we ask school to take when they start the Green Schools Challenge. All of you that are here, you're already completing the first step, which is attending this training. So automatically, you're starting out with 10 points. Then we have the 3 pillars. So the first pillar is to form a green team and to conduct a green pledge. So what is a green team? The green team is made up of teachers, student leaders, administrators, facilities, staff, and even parents. The team is essentially the group that's going to be spearheading the Green Schools Challenge in their school, but the entire student body may be completing the lessons and activities put forth by the program. This step is very important to get the buy-in, not only of one individual class, but of the whole school. Pledges should be visible or shared with all, and ideally it represents those that will be involved in implementing the curriculum, as well as building operation decisions.
And so we just wanted to share some pledges that we've received in the past. Like Barbara mentioned, they should be visual. So we've received banners and posters and billboards that students have put together and up around the school. Obviously, this year it is a little different since we are virtual, but we did have schools manage last year to create some kind of pledge and do that with the class virtually. So I know that you guys will all get creative and do your best in the circumstances. So some of the tips for putting together a successful green team: we definitely don't want you to take this program on solo. The Green Schools Challenge is designed to be a whole school system program. So we definitely encourage you to get others involved. And the easiest way is to put together a green team and assign some roles that you can see here. So definitely include as many people as you can and assign roles to each of those individuals. And definitely involve more than just teachers or students. We definitely encourage you to involve facility staff or administrators as well in the program and into your green team.
The second pillar is to complete an environmental self-assessment, which we will have a look a little bit later. And it helps you to look at your school's current sustainability efforts and practices. And it includes questions regarding efficiency lighting, recycling programs you might have already implemented, school gardens, tracking water usage, bike and walk to school programs, and more. These are questions that you may need to go to your facilities or administrators to answer. You will receive points based on the questions that you answer. So there's no wrong answers, and you may not know the answers to some of them, and you could definitely leave some of the answers blank. We take the assessment directly from the application of the Green Apple designation, which is a state achievement from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection that recognizes K-12 schools that make a voluntary commitment to conserve and protect Florida's natural resources.
And then the third pillar is for a school to set an environmental goal for the year. So hopefully after completing the environmental self-assessment, you'll kind of be able to identify an area for improvement. So we ask schools to choose one main goal to focus on throughout the year based on topics presented through the Green Schools Challenge. So you can see those 5 topics up there include waste, water, energy, general environmental improvement projects, and also the Green Apple designation that Barbara had just mentioned. So we want you to identify activities and initiatives that will help reach the goal that you choose, create an action plan, and how you're going to assess the progress of that goal. So these goals will be used at the end of the school year again to evaluate effectiveness of initiatives at school. Examples of goals in the past have included, getting rain barrels for the school to collect water and to water the school gardens and lawns. And other initiatives are to implement a composting program in your school's cafeteria. Another one is to set up an electronic recycling program in school, create an outdoor classroom, install bike racks on school grounds, implement an energy conservation school-wide campaign. We have a list of past examples provided within the curriculum website that we'll look at later.
Throughout the year is when we ask schools to complete lessons in our curriculum. As we mentioned, there are 6 topics that we focus on, and you can see them listed here as well. There's a dedicated lesson for each topic at each level. To give you an idea of the lessons we are providing, let's take a look at a document we put together that includes overviews along with the objectives. And Alex, if you can pull that up.
So all of you that have already enrolled in the program should have received this document, and it's just kind of a one-off to give you an idea. It'll come in handy, especially, planning the rest of the year. As you can see, we've broken it down into all of the different grade levels, and we wanted to include just, what the objectives of the activity were, and then some of the benchmarks that align with it. So you can feel free to peruse this document at a later time. And so then for the end of the year, around April, we do recognize that this is during testing season. So we do try and wrap up the program during that time. And schools have a chance to celebrate your accomplishments. So we want to make everything flexible during April and May. So the Eco Summit that we ask schools to do is really to celebrate Earth Month and Earth Day that take place in April. And an Eco Summit is a way to showcase the work that has been done by schools. Schools are encouraged to organize an event at their school to present the lessons, initiatives, and knowledge learned in their school community. These events can be joined with STEM nights, Earth Day activities, or end of year school fairs. Again, last year this all had to be done virtually because schools shut down, but a lot of schools were still able to do something virtually, which was great. For the high schools, for the last 2 years, Dreaming Green did organize an in-person Eco Summit to bring all high schools together. And we partnered with the Parks and Rec Department, and we hosted this event where schools get tables to present their work to a general audience. This has also included a gallery exhibit and even performances relating to environmental topics by students. So as of right now, the plan is still to move ahead with that, but we will obviously reassess based on where the school year is at. And so the last requirement of the program is for schools to assess the yearly goal that they had set, that we had talked about at the beginning of the year. So you'll look back at the yearly goal and assess whether you were able to reach that goal or not, and evaluate kind of the challenges that you faced. You're not going to get penalized if you didn't reach your goal, but we just want you to evaluate, why you didn't reach it, what obstacles you came in contact with, maybe what would have helped you to achieve those goals. And we definitely want to help you do that. So if there's anything that the Dreaming Green team can do to help you with that, please feel free to reach out. And so this is important for schools to measure the progress, and we hope that you get real-time data for what you've achieved.
And just a quick note before I go on to bonus activities, I know that there's a couple of questions that are coming in through our Q&A. We do have Diego, as I mentioned before, monitoring them, and we are trying to get to the answers if they're quick answers. There might be some that we're getting continuously, so we'll try to answer those at the end of the presentation. So if we don't get to your question now, we'll try to get to it at the end. And if we do not get to it at all during this presentation, please feel free to reach out to us and we'll have our contact information later on. So we wanted to
sorry, Barb. Erin had pointed out, she was asking a question kind of for all the attendees. So again, if there's something you'd like to ask other teachers as well, I know we do have some teachers here that have been with us since the beginning. So definitely, if you want some feedback or to work with other teachers, feel free to pop that into the Q&A too. And I recommend other teachers to look at the questions too. It might apply to you as well. Sorry, Barb, go ahead.
No worries. So I know we're giving you a lot of information, and we're going to walk you through our guidebooks that are online, because I know that was one of the questions where you access. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But to finish off basically the big chunks of the program, we wanted to, this is something that we started a couple of years ago. And in addition to completing the activities that we put forth through the lessons, we wanted to reward the schools for initiatives and opportunities that they're already taking advantage of. We know that there are a lot of things that you as a teacher are already doing that relate to environmental sustainability, and so we wanted to acknowledge that. These that you see here are some of the ones that we have kind of highlighted, but they're definitely not limited to what is listed here. As you can see, there are some that are specific for Miami and some that are specific for Broward. These examples include beach cleanups, Earth Day activities, poster contests provided by municipalities, bike and walk to school days, and here are some of the other ones, and you could go through. For example, if you're working on something that is not on this list, just email us to see if you can get credit. 2 years ago, we had a teacher that contacted us and she was collecting markers and sending them to Crayola because the company had a collection program. That was a great idea. And of course, we wanted to give credit for this initiative. Also, I know that we started introducing things like the 7-day challenge. And if you're already participating in the Fairchild Challenge competition, there are some of the lessons that you are doing there could also give you bonus points for the program here.
And so then at the end of the year, we want to reward those hardworking schools that have been implementing the sustainability practices and lessons all year long. So we love to host an award ceremony in person where schools and individuals can receive banners, trophies, and prizes. Last year, obviously, we did have to move it online. While we did miss seeing everyone in person, we were still able to highlight those winners. And we did want to point out that any winners from last year, we are working on getting those prizes and banners to you in the coming weeks. So just be patient. I'll definitely be contacting you personally to set that up.
So here's an example of what you will see when you click on a specific lesson. All lessons are formatted the same way. As you can see a little bit on the screen, but they all include an objective, time frame, materials, procedures, evaluation, and all of the associated benchmarks, including state standards. This year, some of the lessons have some background information and vocabulary to help teachers understand the concepts presented. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier, this year we have tried to make the procedures easy for teachers to share, so that students can follow each step from home. And we have identified, the procedures for students and guiding questions for teachers, some extension activities, some additional resources, and a lot of information is put into those lesson plans. And the idea is for you guys to use them as you see fit. You can either use them as is, or you can tweak them to fit into your curriculum that you are teaching. And so here we wanted to show you the example of our scoring system for the lessons that you will be completing. There's a maximum of 10 points, and you can see kind of the breakdown here on how many points each of these criteria you will be getting for your submission.
Great. So now we wanted to take a little bit of time to actually walk you through the guidebooks. We did move them all online a couple years ago. They were still printed guidebooks, but now we've, joined the tech age. And so they are all online now. And everyone that already enrolled in the program should have received all of the guidebooks already in an email from me. But if you ever, can't find that email or you got lost, they are referenced on our webpage, so dreaminggreen.org, and you just have to go through the Green Schools Challenge tab here. And as you can see, we have all 3 guidebooks listed here. And then we can walk through a little bit of the guidebook. So this is just our homepage with our mission and kind of the program benefits and the timeline here that we already went over. On the left-hand side, you do have a menu of all the pages that we have. So some of the things here that we've already covered through the presentation here, but I really wanted to highlight specifically those 6 topics that you can see listed here.
And before you go on, you can see there that it says click here for an overview of all 2020, 2021 lessons with descriptions, which is if you didn't get it through an email from us, I know that somebody mentioned that in the chat, but here's where you would click and view what we just showed you with all of the lessons, the objectives, and the school level that they would go for.
And I can share again with a follow-up email after this training as well. So let's start from beginning of the school year. Here you'll see all of the things that the 3 pillars that we had talked about. We do use a Google Form platform, so those are everything you submit will be done through a Google Form. And then anything that needs to be attached, whether it's pictures or videos, documents, that would be sent directly to me. So alexandra@dreamandgreen.org if you haven't already received an email from me. But Barb had talked about the environmental self-assessment for Pillar 2. So it's just an online form that you'll find right here. So like I said, they're all Google Forms, and we'll need your school name and an email address every time so you get credit for your school. And then it's just, yes, no, multiple choice questions that you'll be answering. And so here's where you'll find all of the 3 pillars for the beginning of the year, and again, the point breakdown. So let's look at an actual lesson. So if we look at water quality and conservation, all 6 topics are formatted in the same way. We introduce the problem of the topic, why should we care, and then what can we do to help with this problem. And so in the bottom, you're going to find the actual lesson plans. As Barbara had mentioned, this is elementary, so there are 3 lessons here for each of these 3 grade levels. For the middle and high school, you'll just find 1 lesson here, but you also have the option of creating your own if it's something that fits within that topic. You're more than welcome to do that. So you click on this on a lesson and it'll pull up a PDF. Barbara had already gone over the format, but as you can see here, it has the title, the objective, the materials, the estimated time, any background information, and then the procedures. And then the evaluation is what you'd be submitting to myself. And then we also include all the benchmarks and any additional resources you might need. So once you complete the lesson plan, you will need to complete a submission form. And that's how I understand that you've completed the lesson, and I grade that based on the rubric we already shared. And then you'll get points for completing that lesson. So again, we'll just need your school name, how many participants completed the lesson. Did you just do it with 1 classroom? Did multiple classrooms do it? Was this a community-wide event? And we want to know numbers as far as how many students and school staff were involved. And then, you'll select which of the activities. Again, for middle and high school, there would just be 1 or create your own. And then an evaluation. And again, the rubric breaks down the extent that we would like of the evaluation. And then the last thing that I wanted to point out was on the very bottom left, you'll see a training resource page. So here's where you'll find, we do offer a training video. It's about 12 minutes, Barb, that you're more than welcome to take a look at. And we've also put together other guide videos that you'll see here. And these are videos that walk you through, just like I am now, the steps of the curriculum, as well as how to apply for green leadership grants, which we'll go over later. And then I'll go over it later, but we are offering additional training to schools if you would like that. We offer a parent letter that you're more than welcome to share with parents at your school that kind of explains the Green Schools Challenge. And then I will be putting the recording of this webinar on this page as well. So you should see this here by Monday. Barbara, is there anything else we want to touch on through the curriculum?
I think the only thing would be where they can find the bonus activities.
Oh, yes, right here. So that has its own page as well. So you can see the graphic that we shared. And again, there will be an associated submission form. Basically, anything that you'll receive points for, you'll need to send a submission form to us, because that's how we know that you completed it and receive points for it. So here we have, everything that we have listed. But again, like Barbara had mentioned, if there's something that's not on that list, then feel free to email me, and there is an option down here to include something that's not on that list.
And I know that somebody through the Q&A mentioned, accommodations that are being made, obviously, because, the schools might not be taking place. And some of the community events that were usually, highlighted are not going to be taking place. We try to take a look and put in those bonus activities, the ones that don't necessarily need to be done in person. For example, the Clean Air Calendar poster contest for Broward schools. Imagine a Day Without Water also doesn't need to happen in person. There are some national campaigns that you can also be creative and do online. The Every Drop Counts poster contest as well. And again, since this is not like the definitive list of all the things that you can do, we just wanted to highlight some of them. What we do want to point out, though, is that the maximum number of points that you will be able to receive for bonus activities is 40. It doesn't mean that you can't do more bonus activities, but that we will stop basically counting at 40, just because we want to have a holistic approach to the program, so that the lessons that you're implementing either in your classroom or after school definitely get a weighty point value, because you can earn up to 60 points for those, and then the bonus activities would be up to 40 points for those. We just wanted to clarify. So obviously this program is voluntary, so you can choose to do only the lessons, or you can choose to do only the beginning of the year activities, or you can choose to do, only the bonus activities. You could do a combination of those. But since it is run as a competition, the more of the monthly activities you do and the bonus, the more points you accrue. And then at the end, those will be the top scoring schools will be the ones that will be receiving prizes.
Great. So if there's nothing else, then we'll go back to the presentation. And if anybody has questions on walking them through the guidebook, I'm more than happy to jump on a call with anybody, or another training. Like I said, when we can set up another Zoom call, I'm happy to do that one-on-one with you. Just send me an email.
So we wanted to also highlight a couple of initiatives this year. One being the City of Miami Mayor's Challenge. We had introduced it a little bit last year, but unfortunately because of COVID, we kind of had to put a pause on that. And so we're relaunching this initiative. So it's focusing on South Florida, specifically on Biscayne Bay. And it is in a health crisis. I'm sure you guys have all seen the news. And what is happening in the last few weeks, and the threats that could potentially get even worse if we don't do anything about it. So even though this initiative has started last year in January, February, we've now seen a change where we see that we are in a crisis. So we've partnered with the Ocean Conservancy and the City of Miami to bring K through 12 schools the Mayor's Challenge. So City of Miami Mayor Francis Suarez is calling on schools to create a public service announcement video that highlights the threats to Biscayne Bay, the current efforts to save it, and the additional possible solutions that you can come up with your green team. The public schools located in City of Miami are eligible to receive prize money in addition for this initiative for the top videos. But we invite all schools, including Broward schools, to submit videos. Schools outside of the City of Miami will receive bonus points for their submission. And Broward schools, obviously, you might not be focusing specifically on Biscayne Bay, but you may want to focus on some of the local waterways that are also being affected by, as Daniel mentioned before, some of the algal blooms that we're seeing. We also want to highlight another initiative, and it's a competition through a partnership we have with Florida International University. And this is open to all high schools enrolled in the Green Schools Challenge. For this competition, we connect high school teams with graduate students from FIU's School of Landscape Architecture. Together, they will reimagine an area to adapt to climate change threats, including climate change. This year, they will be using the Sky as Barge as a case study, along with other examples, including Crandon Park and Matheson Hammocks Park, to design a model for a house and its surrounding landscape developed on or near Biscayne Bay with coastal adaptations to withstand projected sea level rise in 2030. High school teams will be asked to create 3D models, and Dream and Green will provide reimbursement for materials. Those 3D models will be presented to a panel of judges in February. Now, obviously, the situation is we're not sure exactly if we'll be able to hold it an in-person event like we've done in the previous years, but we're hoping, and all depends on the state of what is happening with COVID. But we wanted to bring this to all of the high school teachers that are present with us. And we've had great success and really interesting projects for the last 2 years that we've implemented this.
And so for the Green Leadership Grants, as in past years, we're excited to offer grants to support green initiatives that are unique to each school. On the website, there is a tab for Green Leadership Grants where you can submit an application and get some ideas that previous schools have applied for. So we want these initiatives to be student-led. Grant projects are intended to stimulate solutions, both focused thinking. The grant program is also an important learning tool in and of itself by asking green teams to work together to conceptualize and brainstorm projects, demonstrating various sustainability themes, write proposals, develop budgets, and evaluation criteria. And so we do have 3 different kinds of grants that we offer. We do offer up to $350 for a regular challenge grant, which means that the initiative has to be tied to one of the 6 topics: the energy, water, waste, green living, that kind of thing. And then we do offer grants to host an eco summit at your school. Again, that's going to be up to $350. And then last year we introduced a competition registration topic that covers costs for competitions, registration fees, material reimbursements, like Barbara had just mentioned. For the design and build competition, students will be building 3D models, so we want to cover those costs of those building materials. So this competition registration would cover those and give your school that money. For more information, it is on the website. I'm more than happy to talk to anybody. I think the important thing to mention here is that we receive a pool of money that we have to award for these types of grants, and we're not allowed to keep that money. And sometimes I have a hard time giving away money to schools, which you'd be surprised, because who wouldn't want, $350 to, either buy rain barrels or refillable water stations or electric hand dryers. Schools have bought reusable water bottles. They've bought, a composting system. So we do have a bunch of ideas that other schools have already used and used the money for. And if you're having trouble thinking of something, just reach out and I'll help you, because we can't keep the money and I definitely want to give you as much as you can. And then so we love to share and highlight all the fantastic work you and your students will be doing throughout the year. So we'd love for you to share those on your social media pages. And when you do, we definitely ask you to tag us. So those are all of our handles. I know that a lot of you do use social media, and when you completed your application for the Green Schools Challenge. You did share those handles with us, so we're definitely in the process of following all of you so we can see all the great projects that you guys are doing. And then there's some hashtags on the bottom that we can definitely use in those posts.
So now we've done a lot of speaking.
I'm tired.
So we're going to introduce two special partners that we have this year. Miami Eco Adventures, which operates under Miami-Dade County Parks and Recreation, and our new partnership with Miami-Dade College Live Arts. You will have representatives that will speak about those programs. And so I'm very happy to first introduce, let's see here, Heather. So Heather, we're going to give you hosting privileges. So you, whenever
I think I did.
Perfect.
Okay.
You can take it away.
Thank you. Let me get my screen up here for everyone. Nope, I don't have, hold on. It's not allowing me to share.
All right, try again.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. It's my privilege to be here to represent the Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department, EECO division. My name is Heather Tedlow. I'm the Interpretive Programs Manager for the Miami Eco Adventures unit. I'm going to be highlighting programs that Miami Eco Adventures offers, and also one of our partners in our division, the UF IFAS Extension Office as well. But first, I want to talk to you and familiarize everyone with the Miami-Dade County Parks Department, give you a quick overview of our department. The Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces Department is the third largest parks department in the United States. And for us, it's a great opportunity. We're unique in the fact that we are flagged or sandwiched in between two national parks, Everglades National Park and Biscayne National Park. We operate over 270 parks, help to manage and protect 26,000 acres of natural areas. We manage 17 miles of beaches, 5 golf courses, 6 marinas, 700-acre Zoo Miami, the Deering Estate, and we also have the Crandon Tennis Stadium, and we manage and keep clean our causeways, we have an agricultural extension office, 260 miles of roadways, neat streets, and special taxing districts. So that's what encompasses our department. For the EECO unit, which stands for Education, Extension, Conservation, and Outreach, we fall under one of our main park pillars, and we're the spearheads of one of our park pillars, which is conservation and stewardship. But as you see, we have 3 main pillars within the department that we want to highlight, which is placemaking, health and fitness, and conservation and stewardship. Why with conservation, what's the purpose of the conservation and stewardship pillar? Why do we exist within our department? And really the big picture for the conservation and stewardship pillar is to create park stewards through education and conservation initiatives. Well, why do we want to do that? Because we want to deliver health and happiness to the residents of our county through a connected park system. What do we do? Our main purpose is to conserve, and by conserving, we're educating, managing, and preserving environmentally endangered lands and natural areas. And how do we do that? What's our guiding principle to do that? That is a Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces master plan. And we also have a conservation plan, which is our living document to help guide our conservation principles. So the purpose of the Miami-Dade County Open Space Master Plan is to create a seamless park system, which includes great parks, great public spaces, great natural and cultural places, great greenways and blueways, and great streets. And we do that through our guiding principles of equity, accessibility, seamlessness, sustainability, beauty, and multiple benefits. So we take all of this into account. It's in our master plan. It's how the county targets where we should provide more access, more connectivity to provide residents a better access to natural areas and the parks within not only the county, but we also want to connect municipalities as well. This is a big overall guiding principle for the county. So now a little bit more about the unit I work for and the division I work for within the Parks Department, the EECO division, which again stands for Education, Extension, Conservation, and Outreach. The units within this division are very unique. We have our Miami Eco Adventures, which I'll talk about in a minute, and the UFI Extension. But some of the other units within our division include campground parks, which are Camp Owasso Bauer and Larry and Penny Thompson Park. We have our Fruit and Spice Park, which is a unique park but really only found here in the United States. It highlights tropical fruits, spices, and nuts from all around the world. It's very unique. There's none like it anywhere else in the country. And then we also have unique historical sites within our division, which includes Hattie Bower Preserve, which used to be the old orchid jungle, and Camp Matacumbe, which is the historic site for the Pedro Pran operation. Also, we have Natural Areas Management. The Natural Areas Management team helps to protect and our nature preserves throughout the county and helps manage those nature preserves in partnership also with Durham and REO, which is environmentally endangered lands. So now I'm going to highlight the programs and that Miami Eco Adventures and the UF-IFAS Extension Florida Friendly Landscape Program has to offer you. We've been partnering with Dream and Green for the past 2 years to help provide curriculum and resources for teachers. The mission of Miami Eco Adventures is to create environmental stewards and advocates through quality, heritage, and nature-based recreation and education experiences. And we do this through a few different ways. Our objectives is really to tell the Miami-Dade environmental story, or really the South Florida environmental story if you want to think about it, because lots of these principles can also be used throughout the South Florida. We answer the question, why should I care? Why should I care about natural areas? Why should I protect these areas? What do these areas have to do with me? We examine planning as a constructive link between the present and the future, promote the master plan, the Parks and Recreation Master Plan, as a vision for a livable, sustainable Miami-Dade County. And we want to make sure we nurture the sense of wonder to foster sensory and emotional responses to the environment and suggest creative, satisfying ways of expressing these feelings. So we operate out of 5 nature centers throughout the county. We also have some satellite areas, and we're also trying to integrate our programs into other parks and our heritage parks throughout the county. But we operate mainly out of 5 nature centers. And each of our nature centers tells a specific story or has an overarching point of view when it comes to telling the Miami-Dade County environmental story. So we have 80 Barnes Park, which focuses on urban ecology, Arch Creek Park, which focuses on history and archaeology, as well as early pioneering in Miami-Dade County. Bill Sadowski Park, which focuses on wildlife management and also water, the flow of water and water conservation. Castello Hammock Park, which is birds, butterflies, and South Florida ecology. Crandon Park Visitor and Biscayne Nature, Crandon Park Visitor and Nature Center, and Crandon Park Wilderness Outpost, which focuses mostly on coastal conservation and marine conservation. And we have a satellite site out at Reynolds Park, which we operate some of our programs, our walk and hike programs, nature programs, and our summer camp out of. We're also looking to activate our Hattie Bower Preserve. We're working on that now with our planning team, and Camp Matacumbe. So we'll be operating more programs out of those sites, hopefully very soon. Lots of people, one of the main questions that we get a lot, lots of people wonder about our staff and our background of our staff. So I like to include this because it's a very common question. The staff within the Miami Eco Adventures unit are highly trained, passionate people who not only work outside, but we play outside too. So even on our days off, we're in our natural areas exploring. Most of our staff have degrees in the biological sciences, environmental science, education, or have literally grown up in the Parks Department, starting as campers, and now some of our campers are site supervisors and park managers at our sites. So it's great to have that kind of experience within our unit. Each of our team has an area of expertise or an area that they have special talents in, and that really makes us a wholehearted, well-rounded team because we can really bounce off each other and learn from each other all the time. So you're always learning on the job, which is great. And professional development is very important to us. As you can see, I've included some logos here of some of our partners that we work with for our professional development. And to keep our staff relevant and our knowledge base relevant year after year. We divide our programs mainly into two different types of programming. We have hands-on education, which for most of the teachers here, you'd probably be the most interested in for your classrooms. And then we have adventure-like programs, which you'd be interested in for your days off to come out and spend some time with us and de-stress and connect to nature. So for our hands-on education programs, it's basically our curriculum-based programs. And those include our nature camps, our school outreach, where we can go to schools in person, but we've also successfully launched virtual programs. So we can go right now anywhere. We've actually been with some of our virtual programs all over the world this summer, so it's been very interesting. School field trips obviously can come to us. Adult education programs, Boy and Girl Scout programs. We offer volunteer programs, which you could earn extra points for your school with. We also are launching a virtual volunteer program within the next few weeks, so some of your students can be involved with that as well. And we are a 2020-2021 Dream and Green curriculum partner. And our topics range from ecosystem science, sustainability, history, archaeology, survival skills, and wildlife. Program targets all age groups and ability levels, and we can tailor programs to fit your group's needs. And then our adventure programs, which is really taking people out into nature, connecting people to nature, and then giving them an action-based conservation message to go home and implement after they've completed one of our programs. So our nature-based programs include kayak canoeing and snorkeling, biking and hiking, camping and orienteering, archery, fishing, night hikes, and campfire programs. So if you would like more information about Miami Eco Adventures and our programs and any of our resources that we have that can maybe help you in the classroom, here's our contact information. Our general email is up there, which is ecoadventures@miamidade.gov. Our sales and business phone number is there as well. My contact information is here. My personal email, heather.tedlow@miamidade.gov. And we are on all the social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So please, please, please follow us and see what we're up to. And we're being more than happy to work with any of you this school year. Also within our division is our UF-IFAS Extension Office. The mission of the Miami-Dade County Cooperative Extension in partnership with UF-IFAS, the USDA, and Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces is to take scientific research and agricultural, human, and natural resources and make that information understandable to Miami-Dade County businesses and residents to sustain and enhance their quality of life. Each county within the state of Florida has a unique extension office that offers services that are beneficial to that particular county that it serves. In particular, we're going to be highlighting the Florida Friendly Landscape Program. And what is the Florida Friendly Landscape Program? It's an integrated approach to manage an attractive and colorful yard, which is friendly to water, to wildlife, and less work than the traditional landscape. So the basis of the program is to provide quality landscapes that can serve water, protect the environment, and are adaptable to local conditions and are drought tolerant. Florida-friendly landscaping is a collection of practices that involve design, installation, operation, and maintenance, which are intended to reduce irrigation water use, protect water quality from overuse of fertilizer and pesticides, and to reduce stormwater runoff. So basically, the guiding principles is water conservation, putting the right plant in the right place, making sure that you're going to attract wildlife, and to really recycle, reduce stormwater runoff, and protect water quality within your landscaping. So what does it mean putting the right plant in the right place? You want to select plants for a specific site that require a minimal amounts of water, fertilizer, and pesticides, and through planting will help you place plants where its needs and your needs are met. So really looking at site factors, soil types, the types of drainage, what type of lighting you have, views, hardscapes, any structural limitations, choosing plants recommended for the zone in which you live in, and choosing low maintenance plants to suit your site that will require little pruning or maintenance from you, and choosing a wide variety of plants so you are encouraging wildlife to use your landscaping and use it as part of its habitat, or it's using it as habitat patches so it can move from place to place, and really drawing out the plan and picking those right plants to put them in the right areas for your garden. So programs for schools in the Florida-friendly landscape, there are different programs that you guys can utilize for your classrooms, which do include virtual presentations, publications, and brochures from UF, garden and habitat project consultation at your schools, free starter plants from the Shade House, free rain barrels through Coca-Cola, high school student volunteer opportunities, career day speakers are available, and special projects mentoring. So if you have a project in mind, definitely getting someone to mentor you in developing your project. If you have questions about the UF IFAS Extension's Florida Friendly Landscape Program, I know Barbara McAdam is joining us as a participant. Her email is here, and you can also contact Laura or Jesus. Their emails are here as well. You can follow the UF IFAS Extension Florida Friendly Landscape Program on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Their handles are down below here as well. If there are any questions, I know we're saving questions for the end of the presentations. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I'll be sticking around, or you can email me any specific questions or any of our partners on our programs, and we'll be more than happy to answer them for you.
And to field a question, Heather, this presentation is available. We can make this available to the teachers, this PowerPoint.
Uh-oh, I lost you.
No.
Yes, I can send the presentation
Okay.
to the teachers as well. No problem.
Perfect. Thank you.
And so we're going to turn it over to our next presenter, Catherine Garcia, coming to us from MDC Live Arts. Thank you so much, Catherine, for joining us, and we're giving you access as a host now.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. Let me just get my screen up. Hold on. Are we there yet? Can everybody see my screen?
No, I think not yet.
Oh. We might need to go to the backup, Alex.
That's fine. When you got the green button, the share screen, that you don't have that access?
I tried it, but no, I guess it's not working.
Okay, no problem.
There we go. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate that. So hello, everybody. We are thrilled to be part of this program this year. I'm Catherine Garcia. I'm the director of MDC Live Arts. MDC Live Arts is one of the city's oldest and boldest performing arts series. We're an action-driven, people-centered platform for powerful performances and learning experiences that open minds and hearts in all who take part. As our name implies, we are a proud part of Miami-Dade College and as such part of their Department of Cultural Affairs. And we are currently celebrating 3 decades of work in our community this year, which has been quite a year for the live arts, of course, as well as so many other sectors of our community. Our mission is to empower artists, audiences, and students to cultivate change in our community through the transformational programs and performances in the live arts. So Alex, if you could go to the next slide, that would be wonderful. As part of that mission, we started a new program in 2019 called Ecocultura Performances for the Planet. And this is a series of, as it says, performances for the planet, dynamic theater, dance, and music events that spark action, advocacy, and dialogue around global environmental challenges. Miami-Dade College students got to experience this program last year, and we are really thrilled to be able to partner with Dreaming Green to expand to K-12 schools this year through the Green Schools Challenge. As part of that, we've been working hard to make sure students can still experience and benefit from the power of the performing arts this year virtually. So if you could go to the next slide, Alex, I can talk a little bit about some of the artists that we'll be bringing your way in classrooms this year on the screen. The first artist is named Miwa Matreyek. She was actually featured in our season last year live in a theater. And we did a program with her on Earth Day virtually that led to the inspiration for this partnership with Dreaming Green. She is a unique artist based in Los Angeles that combines animation and projection and theater. And she can tell you more about it. Actually, she has this wonderful piece that will be a resource in your classrooms. So Alex, if you could hit that, we can hear directly from the artist.
Hi, I'm Miwa Matreyek, and I'm an animator, designer, and performer based in Los Angeles. I make multimedia shows that combine animation and theater. I project the animations that I make onto a screen from 2 projectors, from the front and from the back, and I create a shadow with my body to tell dreamlike stories about the world. With the 2 layers of projection, I can create complex illusions of an immersive world that my body is a part of. My newest piece is called Infinitely Yours. This piece is about climate change, the human impact on the earth, and my own climate grief that I was processing. I chose the title Infinitely Yours while thinking about how long plastic takes to break down. I was also thinking about how all the life here on Earth is made out of recycled materials. The stuff that make up our bodies used to be part of the food that we eat, whether it be animal or plant, which in turn was part of animal, plant, or earth. When we contaminate the planet, we contaminate ourselves. When we destroy nature, we destroy ourselves. The inspiration for creating this piece came from news items that I was reading, listening to, and watching over the last 4 to 5 years that were growing more and more alarming about unprecedented wildfires, floods, destructive storms, sea level rise, droughts, famines, pollution, and contamination, as well as the cycles of over-extraction from land clearing for farming, fish population collapse from overfishing, and destructive extractions of fossil fuels and natural gases. I was bookmarking these news items in an app called Evernote. It was a way to catalog the information and to start imagining how I might turn these news information into visual images and moments of performance. Because my work integrates my animation as well as my own body and shadow, I wanted the moments and experiences of climate change to look like they directly affect my body. I was interested in sudden flips in who the shadow figure might represent. Some of the moments I'm an individual person experiencing the world, but sometimes my shadow represents all of humanity, and yet again, sometimes the earth itself. My shadow flips between being the destroyer and the destroyed. The shadow drowns in the ocean full of plastic, screams in traffic, and guzzles oil. In a lot of the moments in this piece, I am integrating videos and photos from my daily life. The garbage floating just under the waves were all videos I shot of plastic trash I pulled out of the blue bin of my building, with a good portion of it being my own. The process of making this work actually made me reassess my own plastic consumption, leading me to do monthly audits, where I held on to the trash headed for the recycling bin for a whole month so I could take a look at all I've amassed in the month. This helped me assess where I can make different shopping choices, what I can reuse, and research further into what I can actually recycle in my area. I wanted this piece through live performance to give a nightmarish, visceral way to communicate ideas to the audience. For example, there's the statistic that the average American creates 4.4 pounds of trash a day. What does it mean when you multiply that by a week, a month, a year, or a lifetime, or a whole household? What would it feel like for all that trash to come pouring out of your body? It has been interesting that as I show this work, there are scenes that continue to feel relevant with unfolding world events. The opening scene with the forest fire, I first imagined with the fires in California, but then felt relevant again and again with the Amazon rainforest fires and then the fires in Australia.
All right, thank you so much, Alex, for playing that. This is a truly amazing piece of work, as you might be able to tell from this small clip, that is going to be available in classrooms. So the structure of how this will work, in Miwa's case, we will have, of course, this 5-minute video available for your classrooms with a link that you can share with your students. The performance Infinitely Yours is about 25 minutes long, and it will be available through a private link for about a week in November that you can assign out to your students. Following that, we're going to have a climate chat with Miwa, a live climate chat with Miwa and some climate activists to discuss the issues in the show. And what it does so beautifully is that it goes straight to the gut on all of these issues that we experience in the news, as she was discussing, and really goes to the heart of how we deal with this emotionally. And this piece is a wonderful opportunity for students to process some of the climate anxiety and grief that we all are experiencing. So that climate chat will take place. We'll have about 2 or 3 different options, dates and times to choose from, for students to engage with that climate chat. And then we'll have an optional workshop with Miwa to do a found art workshop with students. That'll be limited, so first come, first serve. But that can serve as a moment of inspiration for students to really see how the arts can contribute to change making, and to inspire climate action. So we're really thrilled to be bringing Miwa in the fall. It'll be late November and early December for her engagement with students. And Alex, if you don't mind going to the next screen, we also have an amazing project coming for the spring. This is called Small Island, Big Song. And this is gonna go, I didn't mention, sorry, that Miwa is attached to the waste management and recycling curriculum for, I believe it's middle schoolers. And then Small Island, Big Song is attached to water quality, and it's specifically dealing with sea level rise for high school students. Now, Small Island, Big Song is a one-of-a-kind project bringing Indigenous islanders throughout the Pacific and Indian Oceans together in a musical project. So this is both documentary, live concert touring production, and educational initiative. All of these islanders are facing, just as we are here in Miami and in the Caribbean, extreme sea level rise threat immediately. And this really brings together this unique group of artists to talk about the challenges they face. So this will be available for students to, of course, see, and then we will be doing another talk with these artists all the way on the other side of the world to talk about the common challenges we all face with sea level rise. So Alex, if you don't mind hitting play, this is a very short trailer for the project you can get a sense of.
Ayaw no mulfut tabi saan. Ayaw nang tulian. Tayo ini yang makapasok tapi tulian. Wala kurung kami. Anak-anak kembali.
It's not really a part of me, part of my family. I think after 5,000 years, the first time the descendants of one DNA come together and produce something that is amazing.
Uson no arumanay. Ifisi sapti alira kuwa.
Thank you so much, Alex. So many of these artists featured in the film and in the concert are environmental activists in their own communities and trying to protect their indigenous heritage through these crises and through these challenges. So we're really excited to be able to create some global citizenship and encourage the fact that we're all one on one planet by connecting students with these artists through, again, virtual climate chats and virtual concert and film. So that's what we're looking at. I know that there may be some questions. This is a new feature this year. So again, I'm also sticking around for any questions that might come up around this piece of the Green Schools Challenge this year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. This is great. And I know that one of the questions that we've already gotten is when we will open up registration for that event for the workshop for the students. And so we'll have that available in October. But just to clarify, for all of the middle schools that will be doing that, the lesson focusing on waste, the video that you saw plus the Infinitely Yours will be available for those schools. And it's just the 25 person limit would be on the additional workshop that we would do with the artist, just to clarify that a little bit. But we'll definitely have more information, and we will make sure to contact all of the middle school teachers and high school teachers that are registered for the program so that they know when to register for those opportunities.
Yeah, correct. If I could just add, the idea is that we keep most of the performances and chats forward facing. So we don't have the problem of how many students can be accommodated. It's the workshops where they're a bit more hands-on with, I didn't mention with Small and Big Song, we're looking to do a songwriting workshop. So those require a bit more interaction, so there'll be limited numbers, but the other pieces will be open.
Thank you, Catherine, so much.
Thank you. So I guess moving right along, we're going to take a look at two other partners that couldn't be here today, but I'll go ahead and introduce them, and they each have a little video associated with them. So the first partner that's new this year is ACIDIFICATION, and that's a global community of people documenting everyday block by block impacts of climate change. So from community members in Nigeria posting about extreme heat to your neighbors in South Florida tracking sea level rise and flooding, IC Changers put a human face to the effects of climate change. This allows local decision makers to identify and target possible adaptation solutions that can reduce your climate risks and improve your quality of life. Your observations and block by block insights can help cities, engineers, and local organization advocates for and creating solutions to climate changes. So we'll show you a short video kind of outlining the IC change, and it is an application for your phone.
When it comes to eyeing the weather, the best expert isn't the guy on TV, and it's not radar or satellite, it's you. Weather impacts everyone and everything, so when it changes, we need to know how it's changing us and our communities. My name is Julia Kamari-Drapkin, and I'm the founder of IC Change. IC Change empowers you to be a climate scientist in your community and investigate how weather and climate are impacting the environment and daily life where you live. Sign up on ichange.org. You can use a computer or our mobile apps. You can tell us a story or take pictures of what's changing. Think of it like an Earth selfie. Each sighting on IC Change is synced to NASA satellite data and broadcast to our community of scientists, journalists, and other community members to investigate the bigger picture trends. What animals and plants do you see in your backyard today? When it's too hot to play, what do you want to do instead? What do you or your neighbors do when there's not enough rain? Or what happens when there's too much? Are bugs out biting, and is it weird to see them at this time of year? Not sure what to observe? Take a look at the investigations that we have posted to get started. Or you can talk to your neighbors and report what they've seen change. Definitely be curious about what you're seeing. We'll connect your questions to scientists and report back what we hear. Even the smallest changes can help us understand the bigger picture ones. So we can't wait to see what you see change.
And then for anyone that's interested in setting up this application, they do have a short video on how to sign up. So we really wanted to bring that in this year, for the given fact, that most of us are at home, and this is a great way for either teachers and students to, connect internationally with like-minded individuals, that this is an application they can use at home, in their backyard, in their neighborhood, in their parks, to really, document the effects of climate change and get that feedback from scientists and other community members, and like I said, international individuals as well.
And so just to interject a second there, so where does that fit into the program? We have been partnering with them so that this is part of our bonus points activities. So specifically for the middle and high school, we didn't want to put it in for elementary just in case, people are more uncomfortable with, elementary school students creating profiles. But for middle and high school students, we know that those students have lots of apps, and there is a very strict privacy. So, no other members of the IC Change community can connect with others. So it's not like that kind of connection, but people could see your posts. And the idea for this is that the observations that you post about will give the school, your representative school, bonus points for this. And we have a little one pager about IC Change, what they're using the data for, who's using it, and then again, how are we incorporating it into our program. And this is a pilot program for us, and so we want to get your feedback, what you think of it if you decide to participate with your students. And so you can create either a profile as a team, but or you can have individual students create profiles. There are specific directions on what they would need to do to include, so we would know that they are participating in IC Change through the program for the Green Schools Challenge. So just wanted to clarify that a little bit.
Great. And so then the next organization we wanted to highlight is the National Wildlife Federation and their Eco Schools program. This is also a new collaboration for us this year. And the Eco Schools program combines environmental-based learning with hands-on experiences. It also sparks action in the classroom that ripples out into the greater community. Utilizing a 7-step framework, students from pre-K through 12 are engaged in making their community and the world a more sustainable place to live. So we do have a representative that couldn't be here today, but she did record a video that we'd like to show now.
Hello, teachers. My name is Maria Elena Garcia. I'm the Florida Education Manager for the National Wildlife Federation. I just want to congratulate you, first of all, for surviving these first 2 weeks. I know they were extremely challenging, so thank you so much for staying there. I know it was hard, so you're heroes. You are my personal heroes. Thank you. I also want to thank Barbara Martinez from Dreaming Green for extending this invitation to share some information about the Eco School USA and Schoolyard Habitat program. So I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can. I know I have very little time. So let's go ahead. So a little bit about the National Wildlife Federation. We are the oldest and largest US-based conservation and education organization of the United States, founded in 1936. You might know us from Ranger Rig magazine, which has been published since 1967. Our focal program, education program, is Eco School USA. We have 7 regional offices around the country, and our priorities are to protect, restore, and connect wildlife habitat, transform wildlife conservation, and connect all Americans with wildlife. We have been a STEAM community partner since last year. It was a great collaboration last year. I worked with around 12 different schools. We also have been partnering with the Fairchild Challenge. Last year we collaborated through the conservation photography contest, which received amazing entries. We also are collaborating with Connect to Protect Network through our Schoolyard Habitat program. And this summer, like I mentioned before, we were able to start collaborating with Dreaming Green to create online standard-based lessons that students can do from home. So I hope you get a chance to see those. A little bit about Eco School USA. It's a national and international certification for schools, founded in 1992 by the Foundation for Environmental Education, which is based in Copenhagen, Denmark. Each country has a different NGO that administers the program, and in the United States, NWF has been managing this program since 2010. It's a 3-tier process. You go through bronze, silver, and the highest award is the green flag. And it's a 7-step process. I don't have the time to go through it all now, but please email me and I can definitely give you very detailed information about how this works. But it's very similar to the challenge with Dreaming Green School Challenge. So if you want to be doing 2 certifications at the same time, I encourage you to do Eco School because the same work that you're doing for a Dreaming Green Challenge, you can be applying it to this national and international certification. This is our website, www.nwf.org, Eco Schools USA. This is where you would register your school. You would click here on this button where it says register. And if you do so, please email me here, garciam@nwf.org, so I can know that you registered and I can offer you support and be on the lookout if you have any questions or you encounter any difficulties with your registration. This is what the registration page looks like. We work with the Department of Education database. So when you put your zip code and your state, it will automatically find all the information on your school. So it's very friendly and easy to do. It'll take a couple of minutes. For now, we have shifted to Eco School at Home. I invite you to look at this resource page. We're adapting all our audits, environmental audits that we do through Eco School. We have adapted them so the kids can do it at home and get certified at home for doing their environmental audits. So this is what our website looks like. And we will be having a teacher webinar very soon on how to use the Eco Schools at Home educational resources. So again, please email me and I will tell you when that teacher webinar is, so you have more information and you can use these resources with your students. This is what our website looks like, virtual classroom. We have already many different activities divided by grades and theme. Here you can connect with our online Ranger Rig magazine, which is free right now since COVID started. We opened the registration, so we waived the fee to be subscribed to our virtual magazine. We have art activities. You can also look at our Eco School USA YouTube channel. And lastly, once schools are back, where we're open again in person, if you want to support developing an outdoor learning space, please reach out to me. We have a lot of experience doing these. Let me show you our page. It's nwf.org schoolyard. Here, if you already have a garden that you want to certify as a schoolyard habitat, this is where you would go to fill out the form and get your sign. Right here is the sign. It's in metal. It's a beautiful sign that lasts for many years. This photo is from a particular garden in Miami-Dade, Royal Palm Elementary, which is certified by Connect to Protect and the schoolyard habitat. So once we come back to school, if you are interested in either creating a schoolyard habitat or you already have one and you want to certify it, please reach out to me. Again, my email is garciam@nwf.org, and I look forward to meeting some of you. So have a great rest of the PD, and thank you, Barbara, again for inviting me to be part of this so I can share this information with the Dreaming Green teachers. Bye. Thank you all.
And I did want to mention I had a question regarding contact information. I will be sending out in my follow-up email, I'll include the contact information for all of our guest speakers. So if you are interested in attending the webinar or training that Maria Elena was talking about, you could email her directly then.
And so before we go on to our next presenter breakout session, Maria Elena helped us to create, as she mentioned, the food security lessons this year. And so we were really happy to get her feedback and work with her for those lessons, which we think are going to be really interesting. And we hope to get positive feedback from you guys when you implement them. And now we're going to invite Brittany from EcoRise to lead a breakout session. After the breakout session, we'll return together and to go over the next steps and closing remarks. So it's my pleasure to connect you with Brittany, and we're going to give you hosting privileges.
I did.
Greetings, everybody. I am excited to be here with you all today. I love the opportunities to participate with Dream and Green, so thank you for having me with you today. I am going to share my screen. I have a workshop-ish type activity that we're going to do today. I say workshop light. I'd like to work with you and introduce you to some of the additional resources that are available to support you in your work with Dream and Green and all of the other fantastic partners that have come out today to let you know just how we can help you and how we can support you as fantastic educators in a space that is in such a great need of environmental education. I myself am located in New Orleans, and I think I'm probably experiencing the same storms that you all are in Florida right now. And so I know and I feel in our communities, they're at risk. And so I commend you all for being here and doing the work that you're doing. Before we dive in, I would like to take just a moment to do a bit of centering. This is something that we at EcoRise do in every meeting that we participate in. We do this before our workshops. Every EcoRise team member was a teacher at one time in the classroom, and this is an exercise that we like to do with our students. And so as you approach the workshop that we do today, think about the two different lenses you can show up with through. You as the teacher with your teacher hat, learning about different resources, but then also your teacher hat that learns about how to incorporate some practices into your virtual classroom, because I know this is different for many of you. And so this is one activity that you might try doing with your classes to help support them in getting used to different circumstances. And so we're going to do just 3 breaths. This is one of my favorite short centering exercises. It could be a little awkward for some of you, and if that's the case, that's okay. What I'd like for you to do is get yourself settled in your seat, nice and comfortable and well supported. And for 30 seconds, we are going to sit quietly. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. And we're going to take 3 breaths, 3 nourishing, quenching, calming breaths, whatever it is that your body needs to help you get into something a little different and to help you focus your mind and focus your heart into this next 30 minutes that we'll spend together. And independently, 3 breaths. And after you've given yourself those breaths and that gift, just kind of move yourself around a bit. You've been sitting for a long time looking at a computer. It's challenging, and it's challenging for us as adults, and it's going to be challenging for your students all the way from pre-K up to 12th grade. If you participated in that, I hope that you share some gratitude with yourself for just taking a moment to pause and focus on you and consider exploring something like this with your students. I like to start workshops with a quote that speaks to me and that speaks to the work that we do. I can't actually see everybody right now, and so it's a little challenging to ask for help on this. So I'll read it. John Muir, a very famous conservationist. When we tug at a single thing in nature, we find it attached to the rest of the world. So nothing we do is in a silo. We're not on an island. Everything we do impacts someone else or something else. And it's a really important concept for us to consider. And everyone here is obviously considering that as you're participating in the first place. But this is a really cool concept for you to consider with your students. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time talking about EcoRise, sharing what we have. If you joined me last year, welcome back. If you're new, we're so happy to have you. Just share some resources that we have available to South Florida teachers for free this year. We have a little bit of extra goodies. For those of you who were here last year, we've got a little bit more that we can provide to you this time around. I am Brittany J. Rowe. I'm a program director for EcoRise. I, like I said, was a classroom teacher prior to joining the organization. I was a middle school teacher at a school for sustainability in Brooklyn, New York. And I moved to New Orleans to help found a school here focused around helping high school students achieve financial freedom. It was a tech school where I was the humanities teacher trying to connect different issues of sustainability with my students' lives. I have been an instructional coach, department chair. I work for Johns Hopkins University, helping first and second year master's candidates go through their programming as an instructor. You name it, I've done it, and it's a pleasure to be working with EcoRise now to bring our sustainability and environmental education resources to teachers all over the country, and right now especially to South Florida. EcoRise, our mission is to inspire a new generation of leaders to design a sustainable future for all. So what are those things that we need to sustain our societies, to sustain ourselves, to sustain our hearts? We are working through social entrepreneurship, project-based learning, design thinking, environmental literacy to help students figure out what that looks like and to take action. We have a couple of objectives today. We're going to access our lessons and resources, and then we're going to figure out how we can make some connections between the EcoRise resources and Dream and Green. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment and share with you a best practice as you are working with your students and in a space where your internet connection might not always work just the way it should. One strategy that we have when we're showing videos is to go ahead and include the link in the chat box. This is a really good practice. Oh, and here my link is playing. Sorry. Oh, the tech world. Share the link in the chat box for your students so that everyone can watch independently. You'll find yourself in moments where the internet connection isn't doing exactly what it needs to do. And so maybe your video doesn't necessarily sync up. The words don't sync up with what you're seeing, and it becomes a little messy. And so what I'm going to do for everyone is share with you a video. This is from Elder Creek Elementary. This is a video of some of our programming in action. So before I dive in to share exactly what it is, I'd like you just to have a look at what it looks like. This is about a 3-minute video. So in the chat, you should find the link. Mute your computers, go off independently and have a watch, and we'll come back together in just a couple of minutes to explore it. Okay. If you have finished the video, great. If you haven't had the opportunity to finish, go ahead and pause and put a pin in it. And I'll share a bit about our programming to provide some context for what those awesome elementary kids were doing at Elder Creek. Our programming, our flagship program within EcoRise is called the Sustainable Intelligence Program. We have many different curriculum suites. This program is our environmental literacy suite that we have been incredibly fortunate to be able to offer to South Florida teachers this year, or for the next few years, in fact, through EPA funding. So the Environmental Protection Agency has funded all South Florida teachers to get access to our programming, which includes standards aligned curriculum. We are aligned to NGSS, and we are actively working on getting ourselves fully aligned to your Florida state standards, as they are a little different. And that's something I've been working on for a while now, so that it's customized just for you. We offer teacher professional development included in this program. Our professional development is interactive. It is hands-on, despite the fact that it is a virtual environment right now. When we are in person, all the sticky notes come out, all of the chart paper and smelly markers and the goodness happens. But EcoRise has been working over the last several months to create some really fun interactive experiences for teachers that I will later invite you to join us in, so that you can get some professional development around this particular programming and making connections to Dreaming Green. We also offer a Student Innovation Fund. As I was going through the rest of the webinar and learning about all of the funding opportunities available to you all, I just felt so thrilled to see everyone throwing money at teachers in Florida. We're going to throw some more your way to support you in your Green Schools Challenge if you need it. And so the Student Innovation Fund is actually a classroom grant fund. And so if your kids are working on something small within their classroom, it's micro grant that we have available to help support in the work that you do with Dreaming Green, outside of Dreaming Green, depending on whatever it is that you are shooting for. The Sustainable Intelligence Program is 160 lessons. They come in English and Spanish. They're all online. They are, we have many within our suite of K through 12 lessons that can be converted for the online environment. And I'm going to share with you a resource guide so you can see some of the top remote friendly resources that we have for you. Dreaming Green has highlighted a few of them as extensions to some of the resources that they've provided to you. We know that working online is really difficult, and adapting your resources can be a challenge. The curriculum that we have for you is a supplement to what you're already doing. It's never meant to replace anything that you have. It's just it's meant to provide a little extra, or maybe an extension of a concept that you're already teaching. And through the professional development that we offer, we look at your scope and sequence, your pacing calendar. We take a look at all of your current planning documents and support you in implementing anywhere from one activity to an entire lesson or an entire lesson series into the work that you're doing. Most of the work that we have is hands-on and project-based, and which is really exciting. And it's really fun to do project-based work when you have flexibility. And I know that the time right now might not be it, but one day you will have a little more flexibility with your programming, and we'll be able to help you figure out how to do that in that remote environment or a blended environment if that's where you find yourselves. We're aligned to 7 different eco themes, many of which are perfectly aligned with Dreaming Green. We have waste, food, air, energy. I'm sorry, that was water, the water drop. Energy, air. We have transportation and public spaces. They're beautiful lessons. All of our worksheets are editable. So if you were to put them online for your students, they could pop right in and type into them their responses. Any worksheets that we have available, they are really easily accessible for you and your students for uploading in any sort of platform that you use. We use Canvas at EcoRise. Some teachers use Canvas, some teachers use Blend. You might find yourself on Google Classroom, but whatever it is, they're easy to put up and they're easy to access. We're going to take a minute now, and this is a tricky part and sometimes a bit of a scary part. I would like to give everyone the opportunity to enroll in our platform. It requires nothing of you. There's no commitment that you have to make. But if we take a moment now and you're able to drop some questions into the chat box or the Q&A, we can help troubleshoot, but ensure that you have access to the program. In order to be able to capture our lessons and all of our PDFs, you'll need to go through our Canvas. You can download them to your computer for use at a later time if you want to, but I'd like to give everyone a moment to get themselves logged in. If you are already enrolled as an EcoRise teacher, you can come here to this link on the bottom, ecorise.org/teacher, and log in. You use your school email address. If you're already a teacher, you can use the forgot password link so that you can recover your password if it's been a while since you've accessed the platform. So I'm going to sit back for just a moment and let you get this process started. Using your school email, if you have access to that today, it would be the best thing to go to ecorise.org/enroll. Just take a moment. I'll be able to see on the back end as you are enrolling that you're getting your welcome emails. But we'll just pause and let you make that happen. I'm starting to see the enrollments flow through. Make sure you check your email. There's a special link in there for you that will get you into the platform, as well as help you set up your password. And for those of you who are already EcoRise teachers, I encourage you to log in and reacquaint yourself with the platform. We'll continue to allow enrollments for another, say, 3 minutes. They're just flowing through right now. So we'll come back together at, actually we'll go 4 minutes. We'll come back together at 3:40. Okay, it looks like most of you are able to get yourselves enrolled. That's fantastic. These are resources that you'll have in your back pocket. I'll share with you some scheduled trainings that we will, workshops that we'll put on the calendar that you can come join us for, so we can dig into some of these a little bit. I saw some really good feedback in the Q&A for how to log in. Thank you very much, Charlene, specifically. We're going to move forward. And we're going to do just a little bit of independent exploration. And this is a time where if this were a traditional EcoRise workshop, we would split out into breakout groups and have the opportunity to explore together and talk through some of what we're seeing in our lesson plans. But today we're going to work independently, and it's going to give us a little bit of time to dig in, to develop some potential questions before we go. So I would like to share with you a link to our remote learning resource guide. You will only be able to access this if you logged in already. And so if you haven't been able to enroll or you haven't been able to log in, you can use this time to make that happen. Or you can put this resource guide link in your back pocket as something that you might want to come back to at a later time. But this resource guide is something that we created specifically for teachers to be able to access our most remote friendly lessons. And all of these lessons, they've either been highlighted through some of your resources from Dream and Green, or they are aligned to your Dream and Green themes. And I would really like to direct your attention to the personal eco audits that we have. These are available for all grade levels, giving students the opportunity to explore in their homes and in their communities their usage and their impact on their environments. And so here's a link for you all. You can click on that, and there are some instructions, and I'll share what it looks like for you in case anyone doesn't happen to have theirs available. But it's a really cool guide that is super user-friendly. It has links to all of the lessons that might be helpful for you, or many of the lessons, I should say, that might be helpful for you. And it doesn't require you to have to go through the whole process of finding them in the platform, because if anyone has had the opportunity to look at it yet, it can be a little overwhelming at first glance. And here's our guide. Additional instructions in case you forget how to log in or how to enroll. This is something that you can provide to your colleagues, your K through 12 teaching colleagues, and any potential after-school providers that you have who might want to engage. We have a couple of curated lessons for each grade band. E-waste is one of the lessons that was highlighted by Dream and Green to support your work in energy and waste. It has a slight energy component to it as well. And then down in the bottom of the document is where we have the personal eco audits. This is data collection for students that drives them to design solutions for positive, sustainable change. So I'm going to give everyone a few more minutes to click around in this document. I'd like for you all to capture one lesson, either from the top section that aligns with your grade band, or from the personal eco audit, which is aligned for all grade bands. I would like for you to capture one, open the lesson, and look at it. What's in there? And I think you'll be surprised at the detail with which you'll be able to engage in some of these activities. And I really, before we go, just want you to have a look, get your eyes on it, because as soon as we leave, you'll forget. But this might be one way to help solidify in your memory how cool this is. And as you're looking, I would like for you to think about the connections that you can make to what you're already thinking about for your Green Schools Challenge. We will do this for 5 minutes. We'll come back at 3:50. And Barbara and Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, where teachers are able to choose a lesson or create their own lesson, they should be able to utilize an EcoRise resource as a create your own. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
that's correct.
Fantastic. And especially for those middle and high school teachers where you might not have as many options, there are several within our curriculum that you could possibly use, so you're not having to reinvent the wheel. If what was already provided didn't quite hit the mark for you. Okay, hopefully you're able to get in, capture something, get your eyes on a lesson, start making connections. I would like everyone to check the chat another time. I am going to include a link to another one of our videos. This is an application video for one of our eco audit grants. Our grants are, I'll provide a little more detail, but this is a project that was requesting grant funding essentially. And I'd like for you to watch this independently again and have a look at what another elementary school in Texas is doing. We happen to have a lot of elementary school video applications. High school students and middle school students, they typically like to write their applications, and so we don't have as much to show you, but still things that you can do with your kids if you are teaching older students. So if you'll check the chat, you'll see another link there to the Buzz at Brook. We'll take about 3 minutes to watch this independently, taking note of what it looks like for someone to engage in possibly a food-related eco-rise lesson or a food-themed approach to viewing sustainability. Okay. Your video should be wrapping up. Our Student Innovation Fund is our micro grant fund. We provide students micro grants of up to $500 per project. We frequently have multiple projects come out of a single classroom. If students are working on different things or they're working on different components for a single project. Many of the projects are very similar to some of the ones that Alexandra shared earlier today. We've got composting stations and solar charging stations, water refilling stations. We have students build gardens on their campuses. We have students introduce campaigns on their campuses to reduce waste or energy usage. I mean, the sky really is the limit. And one way that we utilize our Student Innovation Fund, and one way that we would love to support teachers in South Florida this year, is to provide you with funding that may help with the projects that you're doing with your Green Schools Challenge. If for some reason you weren't provided funding through an application, you can come to us and we can support you, or we can support you in getting supplies and materials and taking field trips, virtual or in person, depending on what time of year, because one day soon life will be back into a semi-normal, I think, situation for us. That really, whatever it is that you need, if you need school supplies for your students at home so that they can do a project or do an experiment that will support in your challenge, call on us. We can do whatever it is that you need. Because like Alexandra said, we find ourselves in a similar situation where we have funding and it's hard to give it away. And so utilizing all of the resources that have been provided to you today can really provide some robust experiences for your kids in a strange environment, an atypical environment. This is some of the work we did last year. We gave away $26,000 in funding from our grants. Our grants are guided through an eco audit. They're driven by data. Students are required in these student-written, student-driven grants to tell us the impact of their projects on the environment. 17,500 of those were post-COVID restrictions. And so it's possible to make this stuff happen in the remote environment. And so we're here to support you in figuring out how that works. We've had students do all sorts of really wonderful things. And maybe if you're not in your class, it looks like grabbing some funds and stashing them away so that when you do get back to school, you can make some really impactful changes. To receive an eco audit grant, we really have just 5 simple steps. And if you'd like to capture, I'm going to provide you the link in the chat after this. We won't watch the video right now, but I would love for you to take a moment when you have a little bit of time to watch this video. It lays out the steps, and this is really good student-facing media as well. This is something you can provide to your kids and say, hey, do you want to do this as you're doing your Green Schools Challenge, or if you're choosing another project, an additional project that you want to embark on because you're looking for some more project-based learning opportunities, you can give this to your kids. Your kindergartners can watch it, your 12th graders can watch it, and you can have them start figuring out, what do we want to do to make a positive impact in our communities, in our school? Maybe it's in our homes. But I'll drop that in for you so you can have it. You'll also have access to the slide presentation. We also do student innovation showcases, and frequently we partner with some of the organizations that we partner with to help students present their work. Sometimes we do individual showcases. If they're in person, we'll do one big event where we invite folks out. But one thing that was illuminated through COVID this year was the ability to do individual virtual showcases. And you can see a virtual showcase here on the left. This is high school students in New York City. They were working on bettering their community, a corridor of 182nd Street in Manhattan, where they realized the trees, of which there are few along their walk to school, were not well protected. And so they pulled many different projects together to provide tree guards for trees along their walk to school so that the trees could be safe and they could grow and kids could have a nice public space to be able to enjoy as they're coming to and from. A really cool thing about these virtual showcases is that students can do this anytime. EcoRise can get together a whole slew of stakeholders, green professionals, community partners, EcoRise members. We can bring together a lot of folks and have your students present the work to the public. And you could use us as a way to help your students soundboard their ideas before submitting things to Dream and Green. Really, again, the sky's the limit. We're here to provide you with opportunities to have your students' voices heard, have their faces seen, have their projects showcased. I'll share with you at another time some opportunities that we might have available if you'd like to tap in and maybe be one of those volunteers to support other students nationally in what they're doing, or support other students in the Florida area to support what they're doing. You can reach me. I am your program person at brittany@ecorise.org. I am here to do whatever it is that you need to help you engage with our curriculum, to help you connect it with Dream and Green, or to help you workshop some of your Dream and Green activities if you just need another partner to brainstorm with. And you can also connect with us on social media at EcoRise. Facebook, Twitter, we have a closed EcoRise educator group that you can join, and folks from all over the country take the time and post questions. We have chat groups so that you can get together with other educators in similar environments, in under similar circumstances to yourself, to crowdsource ideas. And so I highly encourage you, if you go onto Facebook, to join the group, because we have some really cool folks out there who love sharing and also would love to hear about your experiences and have you to share your expertise.
Thank you so much, Brittany. And that was really great to have all those resources available for our teachers. So I am just going to make Alexandra again our co-host here. So again, we just wanted to let everybody know that this webinar is being recorded, so you will be able to reference back to it at any time. We also have put together a training video, which Alexandra mentioned before, is less than 15 minutes, but acts as a crash course on the Green Schools Challenge. In addition to these resources, Dream and Green staff is dedicated to supporting you and generating success. So we are offering individual school trainings. You can request Dream and Green to set up a virtual training just for you and your teachers, for your school and your teachers. And so we really want you to reach out to us. There is a form, so you can give us some dates and times. I also wanted to point out that we do offer an adult program. Our WeLab stands for Water and Energy Learning and Behavior Program, where we offer free workshops to community residents to educate them on the interdependence of water and energy and how conserving resources benefits both the environment as well as your wallets. I know that there are several schools that have taken advantage of this program, especially for their parents. I'm talking Terry. And we are offering these workshops again. This time we could do them virtually. For adults, we are having one WeLab workshop coming up that Diego will be putting together next Thursday, the 17th, through a Venture Cafe platform. So we can definitely share that with everyone that is interested, and just reach out to us if you would like to coordinate one with your parents.
And so just to reiterate for the Miami-Dade public school teachers on receiving their master plan points, don't forget to complete the requirements that I mentioned before. I will be sending you all the follow-up assignment and the links to everything that you'll need separately from everybody else, so you can get those master plan points. And again, to private and Broward teachers, I'm more than happy to provide some kind of documentation stating that you completed this training. Just send me an email.
So now what we want to do, we want to be able to answer any other questions that you might have. And so if you would like to, you have a question either for Alexandra or myself, or any of the other panelists, presenters that we've had here today, what we'll ask you to do is to just simply raise your hand, and we will be able, we'll see if we can work out all the technical things here that we can do, and we can maybe even have you ask your question live. So if you have any questions, just go to your participants at the bottom, and you should be able to raise your hand, or you can type it into the chat. And we're just going to take a couple minutes here to make sure that we answer all of the questions. And so that like that, Diego can also take attendance again, like we have to for MDCPS. And we want to make sure that we acknowledge everybody who has attended and has been with us here today. So like I said, again, please either type your question in the Q&A, or if you would like to talk to us live, you can raise your hand, press the button to raise your hand, and we will give you access to talk.
And also I wanted to point out, I did drop the survey for this training into the chat. So if you could please complete it. So we utilize your feedback to improve our trainings for the future. So if you don't mind taking a few minutes to complete that as well.
And we're answering some questions. One of the questions from one of our attendees was the cost of EcoRise curriculum for individual schools, which Brittany was able to answer. There's absolutely no cost for K-12 educators. And wanted to see any other questions. If anybody would like to raise your hand or type it into the chat.
And I did have a question earlier that I had in the Q&A that I had answered. I'm just going back over them, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew. A teacher asked if the bonus activities were only for the elementary schools, because that's what we had on the screen, but absolutely not. The middle and high schools have their own bonus activity lists, which are on the individual websites. So I just wanted to make that clear that the bonus activities are for all schools and all grade levels.
And again, please don't forget to answer the questions to the survey that Alexandra dropped in the chat. We'll also be sending you a follow-up email, which will include also that survey, just in case you were not able to access it at this time. And again, if there are any questions for either Heather or Catherine or Daniel or Brittany, please let us know. Just raise your hand or type it into the Q&A so that we can make sure to answer your questions. I know we had a lot of new teachers, so we want to thank you guys all for joining us today. We're really happy to see that there is interest in the program, and you know, it's great to see so many teachers that have worked with us in the past as well.
I don't know if we have any questions. Guess we answered everything.
Wow.
But, yeah, right? But like we said, we'll be providing all our contact information. So if you ever do have a question, you're more than welcome to email us. As Barbara mentioned, I'm going to be sending out, you know, a copy of this presentation, our guest speaker presentations, their contact information, surveys, master plan point stuff. It'll all be in an email sent after this training.
And we have one question that came in. You know, obviously we're not sure when everybody will be back. So a question was asked if the environmental goals can be based at home.
Yes, and absolutely, they can be based at home given the circumstances. And even if we do go back to school, you know, sooner than we think, you can still, you know, create that environmental goal for home, because even if you're back in school, I mean, kids are still going to be at home to it in the evening, so they can still implement those changes as well. So we're trying to be as flexible as we can this year. So Barb, I don't know if we want to wrap it up then.
Yes, I just want to take the opportunity to thank again all of our presenters today. We're so happy that you could join us. I'm actually just getting a text from one of our presenters that wasn't able to make it, from Miami EdTech. which is another organization that we'll be partnering. But we'll be sending some more detailed information to everybody that is registered that couldn't attend this meeting. And like we said, since this is all recorded, if there was a colleague of yours that wasn't able to make it because it was a Saturday, we completely understand. Please share this with them. Please let them know that we're available for any questions. And just one last question here coming in. Want to make sure, it says, for the pillar, one of the student pledges, could we have our students complete a flip grid since we are virtual? Ooh, I've never heard of a flip grid. Have you, Alex? I'm learning.
Yes, please, we'd love to see it.
Again, thank you to our panelists. Thank you to all of our attendees. And I see a lot of people are saying that they love Flipgrid, so we're going to
get a lot of
it out. So we're going to be finishing up a little bit earlier here. I know we had scheduled for 4:30, but we'll give you some time from now until, the 4:30 to get onto our survey to make sure that if you, in your names, that we have your names, if you wanted to confirm that you're here. I see, for example, Laura sent us her name and her ID just to make sure. And I'm getting information about Flipgrid. We're definitely going to use this. Perfect. Thank you. I see now we had a couple of attendees that we didn't know who they were with their names, but I know Diego reached out to them. So thank you for putting all of that in the chat.
Great. Well, thank you guys for sticking through the training and giving us a little part of your weekend. We can't wait to have you begin this journey of implementing sustainability and environmental education into your classrooms or at home. Like I said, we dropped the survey. We have completed roll for Miami-Dade Public Schools, so you guys should be all set. And if there's nothing else, then go ahead and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Unfortunately, it's not nice weather outside, but we can do what we can with the rest of the Saturdays.
Thank you very much, everybody. And we'll stick around just in case as people are logging off. Again, thank you, panelists, and thank you, all attendees.
Barbara McAdams from UF IFAS says it's perfect rainwater catch weather.
And Alex, you see the question about how to see the recording. It will be on the guidebook link, but we could also...
And I'll send it in an email as well.
Mm-hmm. I see
Maria raised her hand.
All right, Maria, you can talk to us.
Hi there.
Hi.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So to get into the survey, are you going to send us the link, or how does that work? Because
yes,
I couldn't do it. At least on what I'm seeing here, I can't get in. So are you going to send it to us?
Yes, then I'll send you, if you can't get it in from the chat, then I'll send you the link
okay.
in an email. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Great to see you both.
Thank you. We wish we could see you too.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Perfect. So I'm just going to give everybody just one more minute, just in case we have any last minute questions. And I know people are sending us through the chat just to confirm for attendance. All right, everybody, it is now 4:15, so I am going to end the presentation for everyone. Again, please feel free to contact us. We're so happy that you were able to join us for this workshop to kick off our 2020-2021 Green Schools Challenge this year. And I hope to see everybody soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.